How's everyone? Are you ready to get fired up? You're kidding, right? Are you ready to get fired up? Okay, that's better. I'm going to give you one last opportunity. Who's ready to get fired up? Woo! All right, we are going to do that together. So thanks, Andrew, for that introduction. Just a quick little bit about who I am if we've not met before. I was in the real estate space for 12 years, worked everything from being a real estate agent all the way up to running recruiting, training, retention, and social media for a very large brokerage in Washington and Oregon in the States. So yes, I am American. I'm from Seattle, Washington now, and I love Ontario. Some of the most amazing real estate professionals I've ever met in my entire career are here. So this has been such a blessing to be part of this tour. Because one of the things that I love about having the experience of being a realtor all the way to recruiting and helping you build your business is I've been there, I've done it, I've helped thousands of realtors through kind of their reinvention phase. Because inevitably, when you are servant-hearted leaders, like most of you are, you get burnt out in this business. You get up every day and it's all about everyone else but yourself. So what we're going to talk about today is really tapping into who you are so that every day there's an element that's feeding you, that's fueling you, that's getting you inspired and igniting you so that all of the conversations you're having with your clients, the conversations you're having with your loved ones and your family are ones that you really want to participate in. Now, that doesn't mean, parents, you don't have to have those uncomfortable conversations with your kids. I'm talking about when you're choosing and intentionally utilizing your personal brand, you're going to start attracting the right folks. I'm going to pepper in some stories today, so we're going to get going with what do we think personal brand is? Is there a brave soul in the room who wants to shout out, what do you think of when you think of personal brand? Go ahead. A reflection of the inside on the outside. Ooh, that's very zen of you. Amen. Amen. I love it. What else? What other words come to mind when you think of personal brand? Wow, you're so quiet. Real estate agents usually don't stop talking. So personal brand, really, it's who you are, right? Would you agree? It's who you are. It's not your brand of the brokerage. It's not a logo. It's not your business card. It's who you are. It's been described as it's what people say about you when you're not in the room. Okay? It's how people introduce you. And I've found over the years that there are really very simple ways, techniques, and exercises that you can use that will actually help you help others introduce you and your personal brand in a way that's memorable. Does that sound good to you? So let's work on that. So the reason we want to do that is because a solid brand is going to help you attract more ideal clients, but it's also going to help you become more memorable. Not just the introductions, but you personally. This has been something that's actually happened very organically in my world alone. The number 11 is very, very important to me. Personally and professionally, I use it a lot. And when I signed up on Twitter, I started with Debra 11. That's my handle. All of a sudden, because I shared this number and the story behind it, every single day, somebody sends me a photo of an 11 somewhere. Whether it's a snapshot of their phone at 11:11, they're sitting at table 11, they park in spot 11. It is unbelievable how many people think of me when they think of 11. So what's your 11? What's that memorable thing about you that you're sharing that is truly important to you, that represents who you are? So let's talk about how we can figure that out. Inside the book that you have today is in-depth exercises on how to get there. But we're going to talk about it from a little bit of a higher level. So your core 4 is what I believe the best formula is for you to figure out how to define that personal brand. The first in your core 4 is your values. What do you value? What are your core values? The next is our soul fuel, the things we're passionate about, things that drive us, the things that we love to do. Third is your purpose. What is that unique thing about you that people are drawn to? That talent, that skill that you have that only you know how to do in the way that you do it. And then last but not least is niche. And this is a hard one for most real estate professionals because you don't want to say no. You always want to say yes to everybody who knocks on the door. But I'm going to show you how learning to say no to the wrong clients is actually going to open it up for the right ones. So let's start with your core values. So who in the room knows what their top 11 core value words are? You could just rattle them off, or you've got them in your phone somewhere. Y'all are going to enjoy this book. So here's the thing with knowing what your core values are. We live by our values, whether we know what our values are or not. And what happens is when we live out of alignment of those values, that's when we're exhausted. We're working with clients who don't value the same things. So we get exhausted. An example is if you value efficiency, which I'm pretty sure Kelly Scar values efficiency. He said it how many times, right? He's not going to want to work with a client who needs their hand held, who wants to use a fax machine, right? Because he values fast, quick, efficient transactions. So when you start to define your core values, you can actually see how they can be represented and infused into your business so that your day job and your nighttime is all values-based so that you know what to say yes to and what to say no to, right? So if you've not done the core values exercise, you'll be able to download it when you get to that chapter in the book. But if you want to put it on your phone, feel free to go to d11consulting.com/values exercise. You can download it in PDF form and just have it on your phone. And here's the thing. Once you start to see those words pop up in your life, you're gonna really see the days where you're living out of alignment. You're going to see it and you're going to recognize it right away. This is life-changing, just this one exercise. The second is my favorite because, of course, this is about the things you're passionate about. What do you love to do? If somebody were to say tell me the 5 things you love to do that you could do every single day that don't cost you a lot of money, do you know what those 5 things are? If you're thinking, nah, I don't know what those 5 things are, take some time and write those 5 things down. Again, it doesn't have to be something that's epic like you want to drink champagne on the Eiffel Tower. It could be you want to take your dog for a walk or you want to hang out with your kids or grandkids and read them stories. Those things that fuel you, that when you're doing them, you feel fired up and you have more energy after you've done it than you did before you did it. So 5 things, write down those 5 things. And then get yourself in the habit of every day taking 11 minutes and doing one of those things. Some days you're only going to get to 5 minutes of it. Some days you might actually give yourself an hour. But if you start small, this is the same with exercise, right? Oh, I don't have any time. But if you say, I'm going to do it for 10 minutes, you usually stay on it for 45 because you get in that habit. So take some time, write down those 5 things, and then make yourself that appointment and stick to it. Here's the thing is, in order to fulfill who we are meant to be here, we have to take time for ourselves, right? And for most of us, again, being servant leaders and servant hearts, we feel selfish when we take time for ourselves. We feel a little awkward saying, I'm taking a walk at 11 o'clock in the morning because, oh my goodness, what if a client sees that I'm not working on their property right now? Well, guess what? You're going to treat them so much sweeter. You're going to take better care of them if you take that hour walk and you share that you're taking that hour walk. You're going to feel more authentic. You're going to be more open. And you never know, you might end up with a walking partner in your client. That might be a way that you can build a deeper relationship with them. So the third area, which you see on the screen, is your purpose. What is that thing, that part of you that magnetizes others to you? Are you the person who inspires your friends? Are you the problem solver? Are you the MacGyver in your circle? Can you fix anything? What is that piece of who you are that everyone they call you, they knock on your door when they need that from you? If it's not coming straight to mind, ask your partner, ask your best friend, ask your spouse, ask someone else. What do you think this is? And go through the steps inside that chapter because it's really interesting is once you see your purpose defined, once you actually write it down, and of course it should be a sentence. Mine is, I fire people up, period. It doesn't have to be a monologue. It's a short sentence. So every day, I can get up and say, who am I going to fire up today? And you know what? Facebook's a great place for someone like me to go, because there are plenty of Eeyores on there going, oh, it's such a long day. Their lives are miserable. Something. They need me, right? So what is yours? Are you the fixer? People share their problems. So utilize that, right? Utilize your purpose. I guarantee you will have less days where you're feeling exhausted and drained if you're living in your values and you've got something in there that's filling that soul tank that we all have, and then you're, again, infusing your purpose. So defining those three things, as I mentioned before, not only helps you understand who you are, it also helps you give your best yes and a confident no. How many of you know that no is a complete sentence? No. Say it with me. No. Doesn't that feel good? See, here's the thing. Most of us have FOMO. Does anybody know what FOMO is? Fear of missing out. It's a huge hashtag community on social media. People don't want to say no. They don't want to say no to the client. They don't want to say no to the job offer. They don't want to say no to the party invitation because what will I miss? Well, the reality is, if you're looking at your core four, they can actually help you and guide you into saying yes or no. So who is your ideal client? Let's start there. Who do you love to work with? Now, again, this is a FOMO question for most real estate professionals because the fear of saying, I love working with first-time home buyers, the first thing you think of, but what if a luxury client calls? Or what if a move-up buyer calls? Well, of course you can serve them, but wouldn't it be great if 80% of your business was working with your ideal clients? And that 20% where you're like, I enjoy those transactions, but they don't get me going. They don't fire me up. So think about who you love to work with. Easy exercise. Look at your book of business. Find the 5 people that you loved doing business with. Who were the last 5 clients that when they called, you answered it? You didn't hit ignore, right? The clients you loved getting an email from, or when they text you got excited because you couldn't wait to share whether it was bad news or good news. It didn't matter because there was something about the time you spent with them and working with them that you loved. Those 5 people. So write down their names and why. The why is very important because you're going to start uncovering what inside your core 4 what do they love? Do they value the same thing? Do you value adventure and so do they? So you weren't meeting at the coffee shop, you were going for a walk or a hike to talk about things. Think about it. Why? Then think about the 5 clients who sucked the living life out of you. You all know who those people are usually right away. You're like, oh, Jan and Deb. You know who those people are. Write down their names right now and remind yourself why you didn't enjoy doing business with them. If you value somebody who wants to learn, if you love to teach, if part of your purpose is teaching and sharing your knowledge, but you're working with a luxury client who has no time for that, those are probably the clients you were like, yeah, it was a great paycheck, but man, I really didn't enjoy the process. You might be more inclined to work with first-time home buyers. They need more time, more love, more attention. And by the way, there isn't just the millennial first-time home buyer. Get on a soapbox. We focus so much on the next generation when we're talking about first-time home buyers, but there is an entire community called the boomer that hasn't done a transaction in 20 or 30 or 40 years. And now now somebody's saying, hey, I'm a paperless agent. And they're going, I don't know how to turn that on. So if you want to go paperless, but you love working with boomers, then you've got an opportunity to teach them how to use this stuff. You could have first-time homebuyer summits for boomers, teaching them, part of your purpose, about what you know, and working with people who value that, who want that. So you can start to see When you look at the next piece of your niche, if you have that ideal client, then they likely have a problem you cannot wait to solve. So a first-time boomer buyer doesn't know how to do a transaction anymore. However, one of their problems is everyone thinks they do because they're older. Well, of course they know how to do a transaction. Of course they know what it means to sign up for an e-newsletter. Of course they know. No, they don't. Don't assume. So write down what their number one problem is that you then, of course, in turn, are going to solve, right? So how are you going to solve the problem that is right in front of them? Usually you start to see it when you look at the emails that you've put together. If you're answering the same question for that ideal client, that's a blog post and it's an opportunity for you to use it in your marketing. Because if people are asking you, there's a lot more people who aren't asking who still have the same question. And then the last piece of your niche statement is really, what is it that you promise people? What is that sizzle that you add to a transaction? This is you. So make it what your specific problem or your specific promise is. So mine might be something like, I love working with forward-thinking entrepreneurs who are ready to take their personal brand online to attract the ideal clients and ultimately build a life and business that fires them up. So the fun part about when you're building your niche statement is that the reality is you don't actually have to say, I sell real estate anymore. Because everybody knows the first question we ask when we meet somebody we don't know is what? What do you do? And when you say, I sell real estate, what happens? They'll likely ask, how's the market? Followed by, I'm not looking to buy or sell right now. Or, I have a cousin, a sister, an uncle, somebody that, so they're actually retreating from you, right? They're giving you excuses into why they don't want to continue the conversation with you because you just said, I sell real estate. Versus saying, I love working with first-time home buyers. I specifically work with the boomers because they're coming back into the market after so many years, and I love to teach them how to use the new technology. So I host a monthly buyer summit for them so that they're confidently moving into the next home and the next phase of their life. Now that is short, but the person on the other side is thinking now in their head, who do I know? Who do I know that is a boomer that's been kind of thinking, I'm ready to downsize. I'm ready to go through this process. So it creates a memorable breadcrumb for you in their mind versus I sell real estate. Does this make sense? Are you starting to think about, I know what my formula is going to be? Start using it. Start using it at the cocktail parties that you're going to this season. Put your niche statement together and start using it. It really is interesting how it does truly help people help you build your business. So your Core 4 does a couple of other things as well. First is it helps you understand who you should follow online. So what happens, and what I hear a lot with things, let's just use Facebook as an example, is it's noisy. I'm not interested in anything anybody has to say on my feed, and so you kind of avoid it. Or you do other, you pop in and you pop out. That's probably because you're following the wrong people. You're listening to the wrong people. So again, if you know who your ideal client is, you should be following people who also serve those same clients. You should be utilizing lists on Facebook, put a list together of all the other local business owners who serve the same ideal client, and listen to them. Follow them so that you can work together to attract and care for your ideal client together. Same with people. Are there other service providers, specific individual service providers that maybe don't have a business page that you want to get to know? Well, follow them. Follow them and start having conversation with them. The next is what you read. So what blog posts are you reading? Who is on your RSS feed? Who is coming into your inbox is very important. Do they, A, feed a passion of yours? If you love to golf and you want to work with luxury clients, you should probably be following pro golfers, maybe even some of the pro teachers at the local golf club, so that you can be sharing this information with the people who you want to be attracting. Do you start to see how the puzzle pieces come together just by saying, this is my ideal person? Now it makes sense who you follow. Now it makes sense who you're reading. Also, where you post is important. If you're focused on the boomer, you don't need to be on Snapchat. They're not there. They haven't figured it out. They think it's crazy. But if you're serving the millennial, you better be on Snapchat because they're looking for you there. They want to have that quick, crazy conversation with you. They want to send you that fast little video. Think about it. Where are your ideal clients? And focus your time there. You're not social media gurus. You are real estate professionals. So find the one, maybe two platforms that match what your ultimate business goal is, where your ideal clients are. And then last but not least, the words you use. This actually is a great way to talk about hashtags. Another big question I get is, what the heck are hashtags for? They're taking over the feed, right? They're all over Twitter, they're all over Instagram. Now that Facebook bought Instagram, there's hashtags all over. And hashtags are the little tic-tac-toe sign with a word behind it. Well, your personal brand words are your hashtags. The things you're passionate about. If you're passionate about wine, then use the wine hashtag. If you're passionate about golf or yoga, walking, knitting, you name it. What is it that you're passionate about? That's automatically one of your hashtags that you're going to start to use. If you value adventure, if you're passionate about taking care of yourself and health, start using those hashtags, because basically what that is it's a little beacon on social media telling other people, this is important to me. It's like a highlighter pen in your post that says, this is my key word. I want other people to be able to discover this conversation, and I want people I'm already connected to know that this is a word that I want related to me. Wine, 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 wine. Okay, the reason I say wine is because this is a great example, living example. I love to drink wine. My best friend and I sat down and we thought, we need to create a business where people pay us to drink wine. You're laughing, but we were serious. We were sitting there going, we love to help business owners, specifically women in business, solve problems. We love to idea storm with them, and we love to drink wine. So we started an online TV show called Women on Wine TV. And wineries send us cases of wine to drink on the show. Hello? This is all because we started talking about it. Wine, sharing things about wine. When we're going tasting, we're taking pictures and we're showing, we don't want to be wine snobs. We want to kind of open the door. We want to talk to women about wealth and wine and wisdom all in one. And so by talking about it, people started connecting us to the people we needed to know in order to start that. So think about how you can translate that, okay? Next is, let's just talk about a couple of ways you can connect some of the dots with the social media platforms. Facebook is where you're getting connected with the people you already know, the people that already know who you are. Sometimes we connect with people we don't know, but we rarely interact with them. So I say, let's stop that. Twitter is where you're going to find people who, if you're thinking, I'm really passionate about golf, but I don't really have a golf buddy, you could use Twitter to find that person. Search the golf hashtag from where you live, and it searches a 15-mile radius of everyone talking about golf. So utilize it to find someone that helps you fuel your soul tank. You'll talk about business, you'll talk about all kinds of other stuff. Instagram and Pinterest are for the super visuals. Like if you walk around with your camera and you're taking pictures of everything all the time, utilize that to explain your personal brand. Share your behind the scenes. If you love wine, take pictures of the wine you drink and post it. Start conversations around it. Share when you're on the golf course. Sharing those things isn't a negative, it's a positive. It attracts the right people to you. Blogging about things, obviously the Village Guru totally told us all about that. Listen to what Jeff has to say about that. People find him because he's talking about things that matter to him in his community. Not everything, what matters to him, which is an interesting turn, right, on what we talk about in real estate. The last opportunity up there is about.me. It's a personal landing page. You likely have a website for your brokerage, but this is actually about you. It's a personal landing page. It's free, one photo, you write your story, you add your keywords, your social networks, and it allows people to discover you, and it allows you to have a soft place to share your story that isn't super business related. Because really, it's about you sharing you, right? We're constantly trying to get back to that sharing who you are. Because at the end of the day, one of the biggest things we have to deal with in real estate is there's thousands of people who do what we do. So when you actually get to the point where you've created your recipe of who you are, there's no one else like you. You lose that fear of competition and you can start to collaborate. You can start to say, I love working with first-time homebuyers, but I don't like luxury clients. So you're going to find somebody in your sphere that does serve those people, and you're going to start doing business differently so that you're excited and fired up to get up every day. Okay, a couple quick tips. Current profiles everywhere. Look at your Facebook, look at your LinkedIn, look at your Twitter avatars, those photos. Profile photos should be recognizable. It should not be highly photoshopped. Work your wrinkles. The worst thing you can do is put on one of those crazy glam shots and then go to meet somebody at a local coffee shop and have them walk in and not recognize you. Or worse yet, they see you and they go, wow, she looks old. Like, you don't want that to be the first thought. So update that photo immediately and make it consistent, okay? Next is serve others. So now you've created this great list of people that you're going to follow their blogs. Well, help them share it. When we write things, we want other people to recognize it and share it. So share those blog posts. Help them amplify their message as well. Same thing on Facebook. The Facebook pages, share their status updates. Help them. That leads me to the progressive power. So this is an easy formula for you to follow. When you go to Facebook now, you likely are going to your wall and doing like bombs. Like, all the way down. You're actually not engaging. People don't really engage with a like, right? You rarely get a note saying, hey, thanks for liking my photo. However, think about this. When you leave here today, if you can actually see anything but gray, you see something magnificent and you take a photo of it, you put it on Facebook. What are you waiting for? You're waiting for somebody to like it, right? Because we all love to be liked. We don't put a photo, we don't put something on Facebook for it to be ignored. We're crying out saying, this is beautiful and I want to share it. So you're waiting for the like. But what happens when somebody comments? I wish you could all see your faces. You're like, ooh, it feels good. It's like somebody took the time to say, great photo, thanks for sharing. 5 seconds or less it takes you. Oh my goodness, then that meme that you posted yesterday, somebody shared it. Wow, right? That is an amazing moment when somebody shares your stuff. Do that every day instead of the like bombing, and you're going to start to see results. You're going to start to see connection and engagement. And if you're doing it right, you're actually utilizing those personal brand words and you're sharing about golf, or you're sharing about yoga, or you're sharing about wine. You're actually having somebody else help tell your story. Okay? So think about how you can use that progressive power. And then be sure to listen. There's 3 tools that you can use. One is Google Alerts. Most of us know Google Alerts, right? Search for your first name, last name in quotes. Google will send you a little email every day that says, here's what was said about you. It's not always super relevant. Mention.net is much more relevant, much more timely. You only get a certain number of those for free every month, though. So mention.net. Last but not least is Newsel. They were acquired by LinkedIn, but they actually stayed fairly separate. This is a great product. You sign up for an account, attach it to your social networks, and every day you get an email from them that says, here are the 10 people in your network who were mentioned in a blog post today. So it allows you, especially if you're following your local councilman or influencers in your community, you can start to build relationships with them by utilizing this free tool. So Newsel. Okay, let's do a quick overview. Core 4, define your core 4. Your values, what you're passionate about, that stuff that fills your soul tank, your purpose, and last but not least, your niche. Define those. Next is absolutely clarify your best platforms. Don't waste your time on everywhere. Find where your ideal client is and start hanging out there, spending more time. Be yourself. Update your photo. Everyone, update your photo and be who you are. Share who you are so that you attract those ideal people. And then serve. Serve those people that you're following. Amplify their message. Give them that extra progressive power, the like, the comment, and the share. Be memorable that way. And then last but not least is listen. Have fun while you're doing it. This marketing, digital marketing, is supposed to be fun. You're supposed to be on Facebook enjoying yourself. It doesn't have to suck the life out of you if you follow the right people. Okay, so I think we're towards the end. I mentioned taking your networking to 11 is what we're going to start the conversation on in my breakout today, how to utilize this in making your yes decisions and no decisions for networking, and then how to take it to the next level. So I'd love to see you there. And then one last thing that I love to do is everybody grab your book for me. What I want you to do is I want you to hold the book over your head, nice and high. And I want to hear you say, I got fired up. Ready? I got fired up. Okay, I want you to say it again. All right, now one big woohoo! Awesome.